So for the ones that are watching this on YouTube, if you are looking to trade live with me every single day and join an amazing trading community, make sure you guys check out the Discord Team Bull Trading. The link will be down in the description. Anyways, how is everybody doing today? So very first trade that we're going to review is going to be the AMD trade. And the QQQ trade, like I said, I'm looking for something very specific. So I want to go onto the replay mode on TradingView so you guys can see exactly what I was looking for. It's a different kind of setup. So I want you guys to see my thought process behind it. But the first trade, AMD, right? We had the swing trade overnight. Some people were able to catch straight out calls. Some people caught the butterfly. Either or, the butterfly did. It actually showed 100%, but the spreads were a little wide right at the open, but it hit 80% is when those spreads tightened. So 80% on the butterfly. If you did straight out calls, that was a little over 100%. I saw people type in the chat. Anyways, what I was watching on this AMD, and I put it right in my channel before the market opened. So if we just pull this over real quick, we can see that I said updated bounces for AMD earlier in the morning. You could see that I said, no good bounces currently. And this was before AMD popped in the morning. So as it popped, I went and took the Fibonacci retracement. You can see from this low, the lowest point before price had this massive push to the upside. So then that gave us a bounce of 119.7 and 119.2. You guys had those levels 26 minutes before market open is how I mark them. So as price started trading down to 119.7, I wasn't interested. I didn't see anything that told me to get into this trade, right? This AMD trade alone was a 10-minute workday. So pivot low, pivot high, 119.7, 119.2. As always, I don't trade with a shirt on either. It's hot. But price traded down to that 50% retracement. Honestly, wasn't really seeing anything that interested me on this trade. So then price came down again. And let me check what time I actually got into this trade. We got in this trade at 9:38, which was this candle right here. So price came down, hit the 61.8% retracement, and it popped off of that. I didn't get in here because I was looking at NQ, and honestly, I thought I missed the trade. So thought I missed the trade here, but then as it came down, that's when we got in again, or not again, but that's when we actually got in. And then immediately popped to the upside, trimmed at 939, trimmed at 940, and then stopped all out as we started breaking below these lows down here. So literally a 10-minute workday. That was absolutely beautiful trade. Contracts popped $40, $45 from the entry. So beautiful. So that was trade number one. Any questions about it? That one was pretty straightforward, pretty simple. Yeah. Nice little reaction off our 61.8. Get long, stop loss right below here, pop right into VWAP. Yep, the lowest low to the highest high. So right there, low, high. How am I getting risk reward? Because when we entered, our stop was right below here. And then we caught a nice pop. What? $1.90 off the level. So if our stop, let's just say we entered at 119.3, our stop was 20 cents, and we caught 90 cents to the upside, right? So we were willing to lose 20 to make 90. Make sense? So that's why these are recorded, so you can go back. Now, that was the first trade. I want to show you guys the second trade and my thought process behind it, because like I said, you guys heard me say I am looking for a very specific setup on QQQ. Everybody heard that, correct? Yes. Okay, perfect. Now, what I was looking for, this is a different kind of setup that I'm adding to my arsenal. You guys have seen me take these setups before. Obviously, still need more action in the market, like actually in these trades to build, I guess, the strategy around it, I should say. So if we're looking at QQQ, you can see that we ended up wicking down here, wicking down here, wicking down here, wicking down here. What does this tell us? Buyers are down in this area. Where do they more than likely have their stop losses? Below the low a day, right? So what I was looking for, you guys heard me say when we broke below this level at this 386, I said I would like to see price reclaim 386, but we're going to have to wait a few minutes because I'm looking for a very specific setup, right? So price broke below 386, came right back up, and it reclaimed it. Yes, you could have taken a trade just based off of this with your stop loss right below this low, but it's a little higher risk to do that because it could have just, popped down, came back up, and then dropped right back down, right? So that is a potential trade that you could have ended up taking. I did start the recording, right? Okay, good. But yeah, so liquidity sweep is what this is. People who are getting long down here, long here, long here. Where's their stop loss right below there when it breaks below? Not only are people trying to get short under that low a day break, but these people are also getting their stop losses hit, right? So it pops back up, and then I ended up, watching it for an FVG, which GD talks a lot about. It's not my concept, right? So I'm not going to speak too much on them. There's YouTube videos that you can learn FVGs. I made an Instagram video once about FVGs, and people got all pressed about it in the comments. So not going to talk too much about it. But if we look at the 2-minute time frame, we have our liquidity sweep right here. Price comes up, has a very nice push to the upside right there, giving us our FVG right there, right? You can also see it on the 1 minute right here, there to there, right? So we had two different FVGs that we could have used. I was watching both of them. Now, what I have been doing with these FVGs is I've just been taking a Fibonacci retracement and measuring the high of the FVG to the low of the FVG. And typically that gives us an area that we can look more specifically for an entry. So it came right into the 50% zone, bounced right off of it, right? So as I started seeing, oh, hold on, I'm looking at the completely wrong one. This one right here. This is where we got long. Whoops. This one right here, my bad. How do I delete this? There we go. Right there. So that's typically what I'll be looking for. But as price came down into this, the very top of that FVG, and I started to see the reaction, that's when we ended up getting long. And we caught a nice little scalp to the upside, right? This thing ended up popping from like 386.30 all the way up to 386.75. So not a bad scalp to the upside, right? We were able to lock in some profits, and then we stopped out as price started to come back down again. This is why I need more actual trading action with it. What I should have done with the remainder of the position, I made the same mistake yesterday, was I should just keep the stop loss below the low, right? I already locked in a decent amount of profits on this trade. I should have just kept my stop loss right below here, because the same exact thing happened yesterday. Again, it was still a very nice scalp to the upside right here, but we could have caught a larger move, and that's ideally what I was looking for, was a push back into these high days off of this trade. So when we entered, our stop loss was below here, caught the nice pop up. Unfortunately, just as we pulled back, I ended up selling out the rest of the position and just, taking the profits on the trade. So something I can improve on in the future. Again, that's why I like to do these little webinars for you guys, not only recap the trades, but also show where I could have done better. That way it helps you guys in the future. So that was the entire reasoning behind why I took this trade to begin with, and why I said I'm looking for something so specific. So if you guys ever hear me say that, and you see that we recently broke below a low or broke above a high, that's probably the setup that I'm looking for, right? And then if we head on over to the NQ futures, something that I actually brought up in the morning live stream, I go live on my YouTube every single morning, 8 a.m. Eastern time, Brandon Trades. Make sure you guys tap into that. But something that was a possibility was the liquidity sweep above here. I just didn't like it because SPY was so strong. But we had this high point right here. We popped above it. I think it failed very quickly in the morning. Yes. So right as the market opened, we popped above it, and then very quickly right back down. So that could have been a scenario right there. Why does that candle look weird? I don't think it looked like that on whatever. But yeah, that was the reasoning behind the trade.